Last week, AOC went to Munich to bash Israel. Watch.
I think that personally, that the idea of completely unconditional aid, no matter what one does not make sense. I think it enabled a genocide in Gaza.
She did that in Germany, folks. Now, of course, we've come to expect this behavior from Democrats and Democrat socialists like her. But there's a dangerous game that is being played on the right these days over Israel. Why that's happening is likely a combination of attention-seeking and social media clicks, streaming video views, foreign influence, and of course, money. Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, and other voices on the far right have taken to peddling a range of anti-Semitic tropes that are gaining traction with audiences, particularly young people. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time discussing their individual comments. And by the way, Tucker, if you aren't anti-Semitic and you don't want people to think that you are, you take time to leave the airport when you go to Israel. What I'm really here to address today is the larger danger of influencers not understanding the critical importance of Israel and therefore the presence of Jews and Christians in the Holy Land, something the unhinged Mr. Carlson apparently doesn't get. In the first 18 months following the October 7th massacre by Hamas, the left in America, or the Democratic Party, had been exposed for its close ideological relationship with the pro-Palestinian protesters who filled college campuses and city streets. Republicans were standing with Israel and Jews here and globally. Democrats were abandoning Israel in droves. Then suddenly, as the United States government reaffirmed Israel's right to protect itself from Hamas, Hezbollah, and other Iranian proxies, there was a shift in tone from some on the right that seemed inexplicable. The danger from the rhetoric by Carlson and others is to look at the issue of Israel in a set of silos that defy the Bible, history, facts, and logic. The most prominent among these is the distortion of looking at the Jewish state as merely a political jurisdiction, or allowing one's position on Israel to be defined by the party in power in Tel Aviv. Let's take a step back. History is divine. It is not human. If you're a Christian, you believe that the divine became flesh in the person of Jesus Christ. Christ then became the cornerstone of a new world order based on the basic principle that everyone is capable of earning salvation. The world we know today slowly rose like a skyscraper above the landscape as a testament to that vision of tolerance, forgiveness, love, equality, and the eternal soul. Those principles were an influence on both church and political scholars, as well as our founding fathers who believed that all men were created equal and endowed with rights derived from God. Christ was therefore the cornerstone of the building that became Western civilization. But the building needs a foundation. You go to any church or government building, the cornerstone is most often visible. It's not usually buried in some dark subterranean corner of the foundation never to be seen. It is the stone from which the building springs upward. There can be no doubt, however, that the building that became Western political thought and therefore the free world was built on a foundation of Judaism. Without millennia of Jewish faith and struggle, there is no Christianity. The foundation is an often unseen and much smaller component of the building structure, but it is nonetheless completely indispensable. After thousands of years of war and diaspora, Israel represents the enduring presence of Jews in the Holy Land and the protection of that biblical history. Communists and Islamists understand the critical nature of Jews and Judaism to human society. It's fundamental. That's why they attack Judaism, not just Israel, and they want to see it erased from the Middle East. Israel is therefore not just a political jurisdiction. It is a representation of Jewish political, economic, and spiritual power that is related to Christianity and related to Western society and the free world. The jihadists and the Marxists both know that a building unsupported by its foundation will crumble. If Judaism is broken through the erasure of Jews from the Middle East, which is the goal of the Palestinians and the radical Islamists, then Christianity will also become more vulnerable. Spreading generically anti-Israel messaging is anti-Semitic because weakening Israel's right to existence will lead to not only the killing of more Jews, but the erosion of Judeo-Christian principles upon which the Western world is based. In the book Lord of the World by Robert Hugh Benson, the collapse of Catholicism and therefore Christianity in the book leads to militant secularism and totalitarianism on a global scale. Christ is the building that towers above the landscape, but Judaism is the foundation. Without it, humanity risks becoming, as Benson wrote, quote, cleansed at last of dingy and fantastic nonsense, that is faith in God, where people of faith, both Jew and Christian, are considered nothing more than pests and vermin. Communists and radical Islamists have found common cause in attacking not just Israel, but anything influenced by Jewish culture, and they are being aided by people like Tucker Carlson. Their efforts are about more than seeing the end to Israel. They are about breaking the foundation of Western society. When influential commentators on the political right, like Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, and others, suggest that American support for Israel is problematic, they are helping to strengthen the forces that seek to destroy the biblical values and the biblical history that are the foundation of American freedom. We are right to question why such intelligent people would ignore facts and history to weaken Judeo-Christian values. We are right to ask whether they are agents of the left or Islamist sympathizers, and we are right to ask who pays them. Let's be clear, Tucker and crew, you cannot be a Christian or a conservative and be anti-Semitic. It is not possible. Jews are part of the mystical body of the church, regardless of who the prime minister is. Israel's preservation is critical to the ability of Judaism to continue to exist at all. The presence of Jews in the Middle East is part of divinely ordered history. As we approach 2028, folks, it is incumbent on every American conservative to work to ensure that Tucker's growing chorus of grifters and attention whores are thoroughly sidelined from the national conversation.